what excites me more is the fight with Paddy.
Really?
Yeah, that fight excites me even more. He said something about Georgia.
Oh, he said something about your country.
Yeah.
What is that?
He said, like, now I understand why the Russians are bombing Georgia or something, like putting bombs in Georgia. And
Whoa.
I'm like, bro,
Whoa.
don't joke with that.
Yeah,
You
it's a
can
fucked
joke
up thing.
about me. Say whatever you want to say about me. Whatever. He's a mushroom. He is this. He is that. Don't talk about war because you don't know how is it. He said that on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
He said that on Twitter. Maybe he was too high, too drunk. I don't know.
Beyond the roar of the crowd and the glint of championship gold, a bitter feud has been brewing for years, threatening to explode inside the UFC Octagon. This isn't just about two fighters, it's a deeply personal war, fueled by insults, altercations, and a clash of two of the sport's most polarizing figures, the undefeated reigning champion Ilia Topuria and the charismatic, controversial fan favorite Paddy The Baddy Pimblett. Their paths are destined to collide. But the true story of their animosity is far more shocking than one might imagine. This narrative will peel back the layers of this escalating conflict, revealing the unseen moments and the raw emotions that have pushed these combatants to the brink. The real fight began long before any contract was signed, and its trajectory has shaped the careers and public perceptions of both men. The fuse of this explosive rivalry was lit not in the octagon, but on social media by none other than Paddy The Baddy Pimblett. It began with a seemingly innocuous tweet aimed at Guram Kutletladze, a Georgian fighter and close friend of Ilia Topuria. Paddy, known for his unfiltered online presence, fired off a comment that would ignite a firestorm, tweeting, "Oh, shut up, you fake Russian." This was far from a casual jab. The situation quickly escalated when Pimblett followed up with an even more inflammatory remark, hitting a nerve that resonated far beyond the fight community, declaring, "No wonder why the Russians terrorized you." The backlash was immediate and immense. Pimblett, by his own admission, was bemused by the outrage, waking up to an avalanche of hate mail. He later attempted to explain his comments, claiming a profound lack of awareness regarding the sensitive geopolitical history between Russia and Georgia. Pimblett stated he was unaware of the Russia-Georgia conflict at the time, asserting that terror was a common colloquialism in Liverpool, where he hails from. For Ilia Topuria, a proud Georgian, these comments were not mere trash talk. They were a direct insult to his heritage and a painful reminder of his country's history. This was not a manufactured beef designed for promotional purposes. It was deeply personal, transforming a minor online spat into a nationally sensitive issue for Topuria. This foundational cultural misunderstanding and perceived disrespect set the stage for the animosity that would follow, elevating the conflict beyond typical athletic competition. The profound personal offense taken by Topuria, rooted in his national identity, created a causal link that transformed a digital exchange into a deeply entrenched and escalating rivalry.
I finish you. I finish you, little man.
From here.
I finish you.
When I saw him last time, he got an hand sanitizer bottle bounced off his foot.
I don't understand you or anything. Back in the flouty mouthy, clouty, like what?
Hand sanitizer, boy!
The online animosity proved too potent to remain confined to social media. It quickly boiled over into a shocking physical confrontation at a fighter hotel in London. This was not a planned media event or a staged photo opportunity. It was raw, unscripted animosity spilling into the real world. The incident occurred when Paddy Pimblett was simply trying to heat up some food, his scrambies as he humorously referred to them, when he was suddenly confronted by Topuria and his team. The scene was almost absurd in its mundane setting, making the sudden outburst of aggression even more jarring. The tension was palpable, and what began as a verbal spat quickly escalated. The confrontation saw the baddie throw a hand sanitizer bottle at El Matador, a small act that underscored the very real and immediate nature of their hatred. This incident served as a stark reminder that the bad blood between these two was not merely for the cameras. It was a deep-seated animosity that could erupt at any moment, anywhere, demonstrating that their rivalry had transcended mere words. The Hotel Showdown cemented their feud as one of the most volatile and genuine in the UFC, transforming a digital exchange into a tangible, physical threat. This critical turning point amplified the bad blood narrative, making the confrontation more impactful and relatable by contrasting the everyday act of heating food with sudden, unbridled aggression. This escalation proved the rivalry was authentic, not just a promotional tactic. If the hotel incident was a private explosion, the UFC 282 press conference was a public detonation. The world watched as Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett's animosity reached a fever pitch, their verbal sparring becoming a spectacle of raw, unfiltered hatred. This was more than just pre-fight banter. It was a genuine clash of personalities and a direct challenge to each other's very existence. Topuria, seething with anger, made his intentions chillingly clear, leaving no doubt about what he wanted to do to the baddie. Topuria's words were laced with venom, a direct threat echoing through the arena. He declared, "I'm going to stand up and I'm going to crush your face," a chilling promise that underscored the depth of his disdain. He then confidently asserted, "At some point I will connect that punch," leaving no ambiguity about his desire to inflict damage. But Paddy Pimblett, never one to back down, met Topuria's intensity with his own brand of fiery personal insults, showing he was not intimidated by the rising star. Pimblett retorted with dismissive phrases like, "You little fart," and the culturally charged, "Little chorito, you Spanish sausage," turning Topuria's heritage into a weapon against him. This press conference was not just about promoting fights, it was about revealing the true depth of their personal animosity. Every word exchanged was a weapon, every glare a threat, and the tension was so thick it could be cut with a knife. This public display of animosity, which nearly escalated into a physical confrontation, demonstrated how their rivalry transcended traditional fight promotion. It became a genuine public spectacle of hatred, significantly amplifying fan interest and demand for a future fight. The raw, uncensored dialogue from this event provided a visceral glimpse into their deep-seated animosity, making the story even more compelling and building intense anticipation for their eventual collision. While the rivalry simmered, Ilia Topuria's career exploded into a meteoric ascent. He embarked on an astonishing, undefeated journey, carving a path of destruction through the UFC's elite. El Matador was not just winning, he was dominating, proving he was destined for greatness. Topuria boasts an unblemished professional MMA record of 17 wins and 0 losses. His rise was marked by stunning victories over legends and former champions, solidifying his status as a true phenom. He did not just beat them, he often finished them in devastating fashion. His dominant victories include knocking out Alexander Volkanovski in the second round at UFC 298 in February 2024 to win the featherweight title. He then defended that title by knocking out Max Holloway in the third round at UFC 308 in October 2024. Demonstrating his ambition, he then moved up to lightweight to brutally knock out former champion Charles Oliveira at UFC 317 in June 2025, claiming the vacant lightweight title. His decisive unanimous decision win over Josh Emmett, which included a rare 10-7 round on one scorecard, truly put him on the map even before his championship reign. This incredible run made him the first unbeaten two-division champion in UFC history, and the first Georgian and Spanish UFC champion. As of July 1, 2025, he stands as the #1 fighter in the UFC's men's pound-for-pound rankings. Topuria's dominance bred an almost arrogant confidence. He not only predicted his victories, but often specified how he would win, then delivered with chilling precision. This self-assuredness extended directly to his rival, Paddy Pimblett. Topuria has repeatedly made dismissive claims about Pimblett being one of the easiest fights at lightweight, stating, "He can do with him whatever I want to do with him," and that he will shine once again against him. Topuria's ascent is not just about titles, it is about superstardom. He is being hailed as the next big thing, drawing comparisons to one of the sport's biggest names, Conor McGregor. He appears on his way toward becoming the biggest MMA star since Conor McGregor, and is seen as the new face of the promotion. Adding to his mystique, there is even a subtle implication that Islam Makhachev, a dominant lightweight champion, chose to vacate his 155-pound title despite Topuria moving up to that division, suggesting Topuria's perceived threat to other top fighters and further cementing the legend of El Matador. This meteoric, undefeated rise and his dismissive attitude toward Pimblett create a stark power dynamic, positioning Topuria as the undisputed, dominant force and amplifying the underdog narrative for Pimblett despite his own popularity. Paddy The Baddy Pimblett has carved a unique space in the UFC, not just through his fighting, but through his undeniable charisma and connection with the fans. Known for his Liverpool roots and his distinctive nickname, The Baddy has become a fan favorite. His appeal is so significant that he secured a lucrative endorsement deal with Barstool Sports, reportedly worth over $1 million. His fights are consistently exciting, evidenced by his 5 Performance of the Night bonuses. Beyond the octagon, Pimblett has also demonstrated a commitment to social causes, launching the Baddy Foundation in December 2022, a charity dedicated to improving men's mental health and addressing child food insecurity. His relatable persona was further highlighted by a viral photo with NFL giant Colton Miller, where Pimblett humorously remarked, "I felt like a child standing next to him," showcasing his down-to-earth and engaging personality. Fans widely perceive his trash talk as elite, a key component of his popular appeal. However, the Baddy's journey has not been without its untold challenges and criticisms, particularly surrounding his fighting performances. The most prominent example is his controversial unanimous decision victory over Jared Gordon at UFC 282 in December 2022. This fight was widely called a robbery by many fans and even fellow fighters. Arguments against Pimblett's win centered on Gordon landing more overall strikes and doing more perceived damage, as well as controlling Pimblett for a significant portion of the third round, with one observer noting Pimblett was held for 4 minutes. Conversely, arguments for Pimblett's victory highlighted his higher number of significant strikes and his ridiculous chin, allowing him to no-sell many of Gordon's punches. Some also pointed to a potential bias from judges towards more popular fighters, especially those with strong crowd support. Despite the win, the fight exposed what many critics describe as Pimblett's glaringly bad striking defense, which often overshadows his pretty solid ground game, where nearly half his wins come from submissions. He was also perceived as not looking great against Gordon, despite a noticeable size advantage. This juxtaposition of Pimblett's immense popularity and charismatic persona with persistent criticisms about his technical deficiencies and controversial judging decisions creates a compelling narrative tension. It raises questions about whether his success is legitimately earned through elite skill or inflated by his star power, making a potential Topuria fight an ultimate test that could either validate or expose him. The rivalry reached a new dramatic peak at UFC 317. The event saw Ilia Topuria deliver a stunning first-round knockout victory over Charles Oliveira, claiming the vacant UFC lightweight title in brutal fashion. The victory solidified Topuria's status as a 2-division champion and an undefeated force in the sport, boasting a 17-0 record. Immediately following this dominant performance, the atmosphere inside the octagon crackled with anticipation. Paddy Pimblett, who had been watching from the audience, was summoned into the cage for a direct confrontation with the newly crowned champion. What ensued was a heated exchange that quickly escalated, culminating in Topuria shoving Pimblett, a clear physical manifestation of their long-standing animosity. Amidst the chaos, Joe Rogan placed a microphone between the two rivals, and Pimblett seized the moment to deliver a direct, defiant challenge. Addressing Topuria, Pimblett stated, "Well done, lad. That was a heavy knockout. I'll give you that respect, but you will never knock me out." This bold declaration, made immediately after Topuria's devastating victory, demonstrated Pimblett's unshakable confidence and his understanding of how to build hype and fan engagement. This public confrontation at UFC 317 served as a calculated yet authentically volatile declaration of war. It effectively leveraged Topuria's championship moment to ignite the demand for the Pimblett fight, positioning it as the most commercially viable option for Topuria's first title defense. Dana White, the UFC president, has acknowledged the prospect of this highly anticipated matchup, and Pimblett has reportedly surged ahead of other top contenders like Arman Tsarukyan and Justin Gaethje as the leading candidate for Topuria's next opponent. This latest flashpoint solidified the demand for their fight, making it not just a matter of personal vendetta, but a significant strategic move for the UFC. The rivalry between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett is a complex tapestry woven from deeply personal insults, explosive physical confrontations, and starkly contrasting fighting styles. It began with a seemingly innocuous tweet that spiraled into a culturally charged offense, leading to a shocking hotel altercation and fiery public exchanges at press conferences. On one side stands Ilia Topuria, the undefeated two-division champion, a clinical finisher hailed as the next face of the UFC and compared to Conor McGregor. His ascent has been undeniable, marked by dominant victories over former champions and a dismissive confidence in his ability to dismantle any opponent, especially Paddy Pimblett. On the other side is Paddy Pimblett, the Baddy, a charismatic showman whose immense popularity and exciting fighting style have garnered him a massive fan following and lucrative endorsements. Yet his journey is also shadowed by controversies, particularly the disputed Jared Gordon fight, which has fueled debates about his technical prowess and reliance on his chin. Critics point to his perceived defensive vulnerabilities, contrasting sharply with Topuria's precision. The dramatic confrontation at UFC 317, where Pimblett directly challenged Topuria after his lightweight title win, solidified the narrative of an unavoidable collision. This feud, fueled by genuine animosity and immense commercial viability, represents a significant narrative arc for the UFC. It pits Topuria's undeniable skill and rising superstardom against Pimblett's raw popularity and controversial fighting style. The question isn't if they will fight, but when, and what will truly be exposed when these two forces, representing different facets of modern MMA, finally collide inside the Octagon. The outcome will undoubtedly have profound implications for both their careers and the future landscape of the sport.